from an Oilers perspective, are there actually reasons to be concerned about the way that game played out, or is it just kind of a game one loss and they'll put it behind them?
Well, the only thing they need to improve on is their discipline. They just took too many penalties, right? If you look at 5-on-5, every Oiler player had a positive shot share. They outscored the Kings 2-1. They outshot them by 15 shots 5-on-5, and that's 54 minutes out of 69. The problem was in the other 15, they lost. They gave up a 4-on-4 goal, and then they gave up 2 power play goals. One with 16 seconds left, and then one in overtime. The LA Kings got a good power play, right? Like their power play was 32% down the stretch when the Oilers was 36, and LA was top 5 all year long. So Edmonton's got to be more disciplined tonight. I think 5-on-5, they would be thrilled. If you go back and watch that game, guys, like the Oilers figured out what they wanted to do with their passive 1-3-1 in the neutral zone, and even the 1-2-2 forecheck that the Kings had, the Oilers solved that. The Kings rarely had any consistent pressure 5-on-5. So I think Edmonton just looks and says, be smarter, be more disciplined, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, Jay, I wanted to ask you about Leon Draisaitl's comments after the game, saying, basically hinting that the Oilers had a lack of maturity in game one. We saw that same lack of maturity at times rear its head last year when these two teams faced each other in the first round. And you had said on the DFO rundown recently that through the first half of this season, the Oilers led the league in beating themselves. Is that, aside from the discipline, is that just more of what, in line with what you were talking about from the beginning of the year?
Yeah, it was a little different because actually Edmonton didn't give up. They didn't gift them goals, right? They gave them opportunities to score with the power play, of course, and that hurt them. But if you look at like the 5-on-5 goal that Kempe scored, it's off a face-off. McDavid actually ties up Kopitar, and then Edmonton just lost a battle. So that wasn't where, they're serving up a pizza like they were early in the season. And you're going to lose some battles, right? It happens. It's like on Draisaitl's first goal, Janmark won a battle and he gets the goal. So those two goals to me kind of sawed each other off. But if you go back, even McDavid, when it's 2-0 early in the third, they have that 2-on-1 with Draisaitl, and he tries to make a pass to a 50-goal scorer. I get it, but the way he's leading the league in goals this year, you could see why you'd say, hey, if you just shoot there and nothing happens, you would have a power play coming up. So, it's small little decisions that I found the Oilers maybe forced it too much, but it wasn't like they were playing Santa Claus like they did early in the season where they were just gift goals. I didn't really see that as an issue.
You mentioned Connor McDavid there, and there was that other 2-on-1 where it got McDavid forced to pass. It turned around, it was in the Oilers' net 15 seconds later. I made the joke yesterday that if people in the stands in the press box know that Connor McDavid messed up, and Connor McDavid also knows that he messed up. He was held off the score sheet in game one. Is it safe to say, from what you've seen from McDavid in his career, we're going to probably see a little angry Connor tonight?
Well, it's funny. McDavid was kind of, I thought, symbolic of the team. In the first two periods, like look at he drew 2 penalties in 30 seconds. And while he didn't get an assist on the Bouchard goal, the reason they scored was because his 2 penalties drawn. And I thought he was like the Oilers in the first 40 minutes was very good. But then you mentioned that, lack of shooting on that goal that led to Kempe scoring on the nice backhand, by the way, from Kempe. He might be one of the quieter 40-goal scorers in the league, by the way, or a guy who doesn't get talked about enough. And I expect McDavid to be better. I'm interested, though, about the matchup tonight, guys, because in game one, the Oilers had last change, and Jay Woodcroft just said, I'll take McDavid versus Deneau, and that's what it was. McDavid played 18 minutes. He played 15 versus Deneau. It was pretty much Deneau versus McDavid, Kopitar versus Draisaitl, and then the bottom lines went head-to-head. And Edmonton won all of the shot stuff, but McDavid's line gave up the 1 goal, funny enough, against Kopitar's line off of the faceoff. So I'll be curious tonight. I won't be stunned, guys, if the Oilers go 11-7.
Yeah, 11-7 certainly seems to be something Jay Woodcroft likes to do. Quickly, Jay, I hate to ask the what-if question, but what if the Oilers squander Game 2 on home ice and they head to L.A. down 2-0?
Well, stats will tell you it's not good, Frank. 86.4% of series, when you win the first 2 games, you win the series. So obviously that's not looking good. Now, hey, what is that, 13.6%? So you're telling me there's a chance if they do it, but it wouldn't be ideal, no question. So I think there's, it's not a must-win game because we've seen it. We even saw it last year. A team came back from down being 2-0, but I think it's a pretty important victory for Edmonton, especially because LA, it just gives them a lot of confidence. And we saw it last year. This series was a total roller coaster. Edmonton lost game 1. They dominated games 2 and 3. Then they got dominated in game 4, lost in overtime in game 5 before winning. So I think Edmonton, though, I think they really liked their game overall. I talked to the players. They weren't really down at all. I think they just felt like they squandered an opportunity, and hopefully they learned from it tonight. And one other note, guys, source tells me Patrice Bergeron, don't expect him in that first round.
Yep.
They think the injury is serious enough that maybe if it goes 7, but you might not even see him at all in that series.
Wow. Yeah, that could be a big loss, obviously, for the Bruins as they go head-to-head with the Panthers in round 1. Also, an injury note from this series, Jason. Gabe Vilardi is expected to play in game 2 tonight, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, Vilardi, I said yesterday, he is in.